the technology that is involved in being able to produce music, as well as dealing with music scores. All of us have watched TV and watched movies, and we know that no movie or no action can really take place. You don't really get the good feel of it without music. And you're going to experience some very exciting visual effects, as well as the music that goes behind the scenes doing movie scores. And I'm even more excited about the fact that we have some excellent talent right here at Raineshaven Elementary School, even amongst your teachers. And you're going to be experiencing the talent of Mr. Nesbitt. He is a very accomplished musician. He does a lot of great things. He sent music even to different theaters in order to be able to have movie scores. So sit back and relax and enjoy the exciting talent of Mr. Nesbitt and the music of the new millennium in movie scores. Mr. Nesbitt.
All right, thank you. What I want to do first before we get started, we've got some great visual effects, great sound effects, great lighting. I want to thank Mr. Holcomb for being our technical support right up here. Give him a big round of applause. Also like to thank Mr. Gasquet, because he, for the last month, for our music appreciation and national music awareness, has put on some great performances here. as far as gospel and blues and jazz and African sounds, and I think he deserves a great, wonderful round of applause for bringing us some great music, great music. Like Mr. Gasquet said, today we're going to talk about theme music. Theme music being the music you might hear behind movies, in the background of movies, TV shows. I might even go to a concert and see Yanni or John Tesh or some of those type of contemporary jazz artists that are doing the new sounds and using the electronic music and the synthesizers and the keyboards to create their music, along with orchestrated bands and symphonies and so forth. Theme music probably got big back in the 80s when all the synthesizers and that typical sound came out. I gave a tape of mine, a music tape of mine, to Mr. Gasquet about 4 months ago, and he listened to it and said, this would be a great way to end our Music Appreciation Month by playing something a little more different, so everybody gets a different style. Now, one thing about theme music you need to keep in mind is as you listen to it, go ahead and let your imagination wander, because that's what it's all about. When you let your imagination wander, let the music take you away from this room, from this audience, and you picture yourself doing things. Maybe you listen to a song and picture yourself flying through the clouds, or flying over the Grand Canyon, or on top of a mountain, or you feel inspired. You feel like you're trekking through the jungle even. That's what theme music is about. It takes you away, let your imagination go. And that's what we're going to do today, is play some theme music, play a couple more songs, then I'll talk about the keyboards themselves and talk about how I work with them, develop the sounds, work with the sounds, layer the sounds so I can get a perfect song together so I can play at concerts like these. So sit back and enjoy and just relax, and if you feel like moving and grooving, go right ahead. Just try not to be too noisy to the neighbor next to you. right, you enjoyed that, huh? Good, good. I want to play something else. Let me tell you, that song that you just listened to is called Monument. That one right there with the guitars and all. That song was inspired by a trip I took out to Colorado. And near Denver, you have the Rocky Mountains, you have Colorado Denver on the east side. On the west side, you've got this place called Grand Junction. And I spent some time there, and that's all desert landscapes with rocks, and there's this big rock formation sticking up, much looks like something you'd see at the Grand Canyon. And I saw that rock, and I was able to fly over that. I'm a pilot, and I was able to take a flight over that rock, and that's kind of what I felt flying over that monument. So that's how that song was inspired. Sometimes when you write music, there's a little bit of collaboration. All right? Everybody's skill is limited in what they can do with their music, and sometimes not everybody can write a song, arrange it, go into the studio, sing to it, and come up with the lyrics. All right? I'm not going to do any singing, but that's an example of what it might take to create a good song. Sometimes you have to have music collaborators, okay? And sometimes someone will come in and give you just a little sound on the guitar or on the piano, a little chord structure here and there, and from that you can develop an entire song. Sometimes you have people of a pop and Christian type of music that other people put the lyrics to and the words, and you put inspirational music with powerful words, and the result is very nice, very relaxing. This song here is an instrumental that somebody else came up to me and said, hey, I got this chord structure, do something with it. So I put a melody to it and arranged it, and this is what I came up with. It's called Autumn Morn. All right, thank you. Here with this keyboard, kind of talk about the equipment now. This keyboard here is called a workstation. I've got about 500 sounds, including everything from drums to basses to choir to tinkly sounds to just about anything you could imagine. I've got right here on this keyboard about 500 sounds. I can take these sounds and I can work with them. I can put more effect onto the sounds. I can sharpen up the sounds. I can smooth the sounds out so they last a little longer. I can make the sounds sound like they're in a concert hall or just playing in a garage or in your room at home. I can work a lot with these sounds right here. I'll talk about that more in a minute. This keyboard up here is one that you can buy at Radio Shack for a couple $100. A great machine. It's got all the built-in rhythms, got about 100 different rhythm sounds, and it's got about 130 different, we call them voice sounds or vocal sounds, such as piano and strings and so forth. This workstation down here works just like a computer. Okay? I've got 16 tracks I can work with each song that I write. And on each track, I put a different sound. Meaning track 1 might be piano, track 2 might be the violins and string, track 3 might be some bells, track 4 might be a French horn. I usually put my drums and drum rolls on track 9, 10, and 11. And if I need more tracks to put more stuff, I can use them. Clear up to 16 tracks when I'm writing the music, when I'm synthesizing, when I'm using my keyboard. That's how I create my sounds. All right? Let me give you a little demonstration of what kind of sounds we have. This next song, kind of interesting. If I can't get this one loaded in here right. It's a song I wrote, well, a piece I wrote, one call it a song. And the image I got with this song is trekking through the jungles down in South America. And you'll be able to hear the drums coming in as the song gets more intense and more intense. I call it the jungle dance. Well, that's loading that song there. All my songs are saved on discs that you can put in your computer. Okay, I save about 4 songs per disc. I stick the disc right in here. I go to load whatever song I want to. Now, this is a really good feature. Okay, you think, well, probably not very good only being able to play or work with one song at a time because that's all the keyboard holds. But if you save the songs on disc, you just save them for years, and then when you want to go back to that song and work with it, change the sounds, you just put the disc back into the keyboard, load it back in, and start working with the sounds. I can take all the sounds, I can go to the tracks, and if I make a mistake recording a track, I can just record that track over again. Or if there's a couple seconds of that song where I hit the wrong note, I'll go back to that section of the song, erase it, and record what I want put in there, make the corrections. And that's what's so good about working with this. It's like working with a word processor on your computer where you can go into each sentence and add sentences and do things without messing up the whole thing. You take things out, put things in, extend it, shorten it, do whatever you want. That's the same way I work with this keyboard, working with songs. Whoop. it too loud?
No, you're fine. What I'm going to stop and get them to stand up just for a second.
Okay.
All right. Everybody stand up real quick. Stand up. Give me a chance to just stretch. Isn't this wonderful music? Wonderful music. Give him another hand. Stretch. All right. Just going to share something with you real quick. As you can see, all of the technology that it takes in order to be able to do this type of music, a lot of the things that we've been sharing with you even throughout this month and throughout really the whole year is that with music, it's so important for us to understand how, first of all, how to read everything that you're doing here in school right now, every subject that you're taking. It takes a knowledge of that in order to do what Mr. Nesbitt is doing right now. To sequence music, you have to have a knowledge of computers and computer science. You have to have a knowledge of, first of all, be able to read, because every one of these keyboards has a manual of about 300 pages thick that you must read it. You've got to read everything in there in order to be able to make these keyboards work. Also, not only being able to read, but able to comprehend and to be able to take that information and to actually use some critical thinking, because everything that's in the manual is not always just how the keyboard works. You have to be able to use some common sense in order to make some of these things work. You have to have a great knowledge of mathematics, because again, all music is, as I've told you all year long, music is one big algebraic equation. It takes algebra to be able to understand how to sequence music together. It also takes a great mind. You have to do a whole lot of thinking. It takes a lot of some social studies and social science, because you're dealing with the human mind. You're dealing with how people think. You're dealing with voices. You have to understand how to make voices work together. You have to have an idea of how that's why we keep going over being able to sing, because you also have to know how the voice works, even to play this type of music. So again, everything that you're learning in school right now is so very important in order to be able to do the very things that Mr. Nesbitt is doing. And as I've shared with you again, there's a lot of money to be able to do the things that Mr. Nesbitt is doing. Just one song could set you to where you would never have to work again, and you could travel the world. Just one song. But of course, it takes a lot of time in order to put this type of music together. So again, everyone, you may have a seat now. So again, it's going to be very important for you to study very, very hard if you are interested in this type of music. Even the visual effects, you're going to be getting more information about that as not only the rest of this year, but also into next year. We're going to be teaching you how to do the same things that you're seeing on the screen as far as putting visual effects together. So again, sit back and enjoy Mr. Nesbitt. Again, I appreciate all that you're doing today.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Mr. Nesbitt.
Sometimes you listen to the music. If you find the music isn't quite to your liking or your style, that's okay. That's no problem. Everybody has their own style and type of music that they get into and they enjoy. So this is just a different style of music. We're going to go into something a little more upbeat, one more piece, and then a sort of a techno piece that I did as your walkout music. Okay? Are there any questions before? Any questions about the keyboards? Any questions about the music? Any questions about making music? Okay, Mr. Gasquet made a good point about the talent involved. You still, even though you've got lots of nice equipment with lots of nice sound, you still have to have the musical talent behind it. You still have to have the creativity. All right, and that comes with practicing your instruments. I've been playing instruments since I was about 12, I think, 11, 12. Okay, started out on the guitar, then went to piano, went back to guitar, and about last 5 years is when I started really getting into the keyboards and working with the sounds and making it really sound somewhat professional. Let's get an upbeat song going and sit back and enjoy. All right, something a little more upbeat for you. About time to be heading back to class. Let me get this one song started, and then you can start moving out, and we'll get the rest of the people in here. I do have another concert, right? All right, good job. Okay. It's an honor to be able to play my music for you. I've got many different styles. I've got the nice relaxing contemporary. I even go to a little bit of classical, sometimes even country and blues, rock, kind of dabble maybe into the disco sound. I know it's kind of out, but I still play with that a little bit and sometimes put it in my music. That one there had a little bit of a disco rhythm. But that's what I do. I sit there and write music on my spare time when I'm not dealing with children and not calling parents and discipline and all that stuff. I'm writing music. So let me get one more song going. Do you want to say something else?
Okay, I'm going to bring the lights up just one more second because we have just a little time. I want to make sure in case anybody has any questions for Mr. Nesbitt about sequencing music, about how this music is put together. If you have any questions, now's a good time to ask because Mr. Nesbitt has a lot of knowledge about sequencing music, about the different styles of music. So if anybody has any questions, we're going to give you an opportunity to ask that question now. Ask that question now, and before we get ready to go back to class. Does anybody have any questions?
If you see me in the hallway, stop me, ask me questions out there too, okay, if you can't think of anything right now. All right, and I'll help you out. I'll point you in the right direction and get you started. But keep playing those instruments and keep being inspired and keep going. It's those of you out there who are thinking about music as a career, because this is where it starts. You start playing the instruments and then you build and build and build. I think we have a question back there.
Hang on a second.
We'll get you a microphone. I think he asked, how old was I when I first started music? Was that it?
How old are you when you started?
When I started taking, I think it was guitar piano when I was about 9 or 10. And I took about 2 years of piano and then took about a summer of guitar, a couple months of guitar. I'll take a college course and just to see if I'm on the right track. Notation and music and reading music, make sure I'm doing the right things. That's pretty much what I did. And I took a couple music classes back in high school. But that was basic music, basic music theory, working with notes and rests and all that stuff, and working with the ledger lines and all that stuff Mr. Gasquet's been going around from class to class teaching the last week. Any other questions?
What made you like music?
What made me like music? I got bored of the stuff I heard on the radio. I mean, that's basically how it started. I got tired of the style. I enjoy listening to the radio, listen to it every day coming back and forth to work. I mean, I always got music playing, but I wanted something different because music is my outlet. As far as dealing with any stress, it's kind of therapeutic for me to sit down at the keyboard. Any frustration, any sadness, any type of feeling I want to get out, I put it on that keyboard and turn it into creativity. But that's the way it started. I just got tired of listening to stuff on the radio, song after song after song, and listen to the same song 5 times a day, and figured I want to sit down and create something that is unique to me and to my experience and to the way I feel about the world. And that's how it started.
How many places had you performed at?
How many what?
Places had you performed at?
Performed at? I performed at about 2 or 3 places. I performed at a couple schools, but not in a big situation like this, more of going into the classroom and putting on a little demonstration. And let's see, I think that's about it. This is probably about the 3rd place I've ever put on a concert.
When we were doing a sound check, you were talking about special effects. Can you show some of the students some of the special effects that the keyboard can recreate?
All right, let me, some of the sounds we can work with. into some sounds. Let me go into some of the program sounds and kind of... There's a piano there. Let me run through some of these. Here's a... And I've got on the keyboard, I can change the attack of that sound, meaning if I want that sound to come in a little smoother, I can get into the sound. If I want that sound after I lift up on the key, if I want that sound to sustain a little longer, I can change that. I can put some echo effect onto it. Those already have echo effects built into the sounds themselves. A lot of effect is already in here. I can put, I've got special effects generator right here, which is putting a little more effect to it. I don't have that hooked up to the microphone, but that could have echoey sound. Jump from speaker to speaker, echo like you're in a canyon. It can put some effects like you're talking in a concert hall or in the bathroom and the sound echoes around you. That's the kind of effects I'm talking about when I'm working with my sounds. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I think we got one last question.
Where did you get your pictures from?
My pictures. Oh, this right here? Oh, this is a, you can buy this at any video store. Go to the mall. This particular one is called the Odyssey series, and it's these guys who took computer graphics, and they do the computer graphics. You probably saw some of the computer graphics similar to, I think it's a Deep Space Nine and stuff like that. You'll find all kinds of their work in there. They just do the computer graphics for movies, and they decided to get together and put together a video. And that's what they did. This particular video has got its own music to it, playing along with it. We just turned the sound down so I could play my music and have the video stuff. But it's got its own music. It doesn't have my music to it. It's got a different musicians. Somebody back there have a question? Somebody over here?
Yeah, you create your music through the video, or you create your music and then get a video to go with it?
Probably the best way to go about that is to watch the video first. Anytime a musician such as John Williams, who did the Star Wars soundtrack, or anybody who puts music to video like this, watches it first, then gets inspired, and then creates from there. Now, every once in a while you might hit on a song that goes perfect with the video, and that's okay, but a lot of times they watch the TV show, they watch the movie, they watch the video first, and then create the music. Any others?
We're going to have to move on now. Those are
right.
Great questions, though. But again, Mr. Nesbitt, again, I appreciate all that you've done today, and I know that a great talent here. Give him another hand. All right. We thank Ms. Gilmore, our principal, and Ms. Macklin, our assistant principal, for all their support for music in our schools and also for our performing arts department here at Raineshaven. We're looking forward to great things, and there's a lot of great talent out there. Some of you are extremely talented, extremely gifted, and that's why we're trying to put as much in you as we possibly can, not only your regular studies and your regular subjects from science to math to social studies to English to reading, but also to music and showing understanding about the different sounds and understanding your voice. So keep working hard, keep concentrating, keep being focused, keep being disciplined, and you too can do the very same thing that you see Mr. Nesbitt doing, as well as being able to do the great visual effects. So we're looking forward to that. Again, Mr. Nesbitt.
Thanks a lot. You can go ahead, move yourself out, teachers, one table at a time, and I've got some music, walkout music, so you don't get bored along the way. But thanks a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, let me know in the hallway or come down to the classroom. I'll be happy to answer them.
Be very careful of these cords right here. Be very careful.